let's talk about the artists in residence projects. You'll see there on the slide, we've talked about all the ones that are in black at the top. Those folks have joined us on these calls. Greg is with, and there are a few that we haven't talked about, but I'm happy to answer questions about them. Greg is with the Roanoke Redevelopment and Housing Authority, and they have the EnVision Center, which I wanted him to talk to us about a little bit tonight. And he's got a dog, and we love dogs. And but I met with Greg. I was interested in what was happening over with the Housing Authority. And in the back of my mind, I've been wanting to see if they might be a partner with the Artists in Residence program. And we were able to add in another residency even after we've been talking about it. After I met with Greg, I was so impressed with his enthusiasm, impressed with what they're doing there at the EnVision Center. And we found some additional money in the city because we think this is a really good opportunity. So Greg, I'm going to stop sharing my slides, and I'm just going to turn it over to you. If you can just tell us, real casually, I'll just ask you some questions. So
sure.
Yeah.
And I apologize. I have the worst luck today. I have a repairman over fixing a leak, and I have a miniature pincher that is quite the protector.
Well, if you need to go, we understand. But while we have you, we'd love to connect with you a little bit and
sure.
hear a little bit about what you do there at the first, pretty generally what you do there at the Redevelopment and Housing Authority.
Sure. So I'm the Director of Community Support Services, which means pretty much over the programs that run to assist our residents at all of our housing sites and our Section 8 residents as well. So we do a lot of our work directly within the housing sites, and then also at what to be is our EnVision Center. Our EnVision Center currently right now is located at our central office at Lansdowne. We purchased the old Melrose Library though, and we're remodeling under construction with the ETA of completion at the end of next month. So we're super excited. That's been 2.5 to 3 year process. So we're super excited about remodeling that and reviving it and offering the services out of there to the community. So really what it is, it's a one-stop shop. What we're finding is our residents come, and generally we're sending them to 5 or 6 different service locations to get services that they need. So ideally what we're trying to do is get as many services as possible in one location, so that when someone comes, we can say, hey, we've got healthcare, we've got mental wellness, we've got career coaching, we've got job training, we've got all these different things right in one location to hopefully get them on track with their personal and career goals.
And so you oversee the programs in the current EnVision Center and outreach, and you've been overseeing the kind of the overhaul of this building.
Yeah, it's been a collaborative effort for sure. There's about 3 of us at the Housing Authority that have really been working on the EnVision Center and really making it come to life. And so yeah, we're super excited. We're in the process of completing some partnerships that hopefully we'll be able to announce soon that are really going to be beneficial for the community. We've got a large-scale training room, a conference room, a community room, a computer lab, 6 community partner offices, a mental wellness room, a full kitchen. And then one of my favorite things is we've got a youth garden that we're also building as a part of this. So we're going to tie in different programming such as music, art therapy, cooking classes, just all these different things to really get the youth, especially over in the Lansdowne area, involved with some of the stuff that we're doing. And then starting in June, we'll have a 6-week STEM camp for the youth as well.
Great. Yeah, yeah. Those partnerships, it sounds like you've got a number of organizations that'll be providing a variety of services and connection points there in one place. So it sounds like it's going to be a pretty energetic spot.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I mean, we definitely want it to be busy. We want folks coming through, and I think, you know, the more that we have over there, the better. Sometimes people don't necessarily realize they may need a service until they actually see the service. So that's a really good thing to have.
And then what do, like, when we've talked about the artist in residence program where we'll pay an artist $500 a month to kind of engage with partners that are advancing the community. And at the EnVision Center, if there's an artist in residence there who can develop a project, like, what are some of the things that are in your mind when you hear that?
I mean, limitless. I know you and I talked about even doing art exhibits. So I know we're gonna have like a family night at least once a month. I could totally see somebody, you know, working on a project, and then we do a family night where it's an art exhibit. And then family members and friends can come over and celebrate the work that the youth have been working on. And I think that's also a really cool way that we can kind of give them some pats on the back and some encouragement for you know, sticking through the program and learning something that might be a little bit new to them. So I think that's definitely a possibility. I think there's a lot of stuff that we can do with the garden to incorporate art, music. I think there's just a ton of things that you can do off of that. And then I think also just utilizing our spaces. I mean, we've got community room, for example, that will have a smart board. So if you wanted to do things using the smart board, you could do things using the smart board. I mean, there's just a wide variety. I mean, they can even use the computer lab. So if you wanted to do some graphic design or things like that, that's a possibility as well.
So limitless, you know, the idea of a new facility that has some existing programs, you know, that you're carrying over from that you've been doing, plus new partnerships and the energy around, you know, creating this space and what it does together. It seems like a really good opportunity for an artist. And do you have any, you know, any thoughts on like what kind, you've mentioned graphic design and music and visual art. Are there any like limitations on what kind of artists can apply for this?
I think it's wide open. I mean, I think the person that's probably gonna really excel over there is somebody that doesn't really want a lot of constraints. Because I think what you're gonna find is you're gonna get over there, and then you're gonna probably meet the youth and see, hey, well, maybe this is what we actually really want to do. I don't like to necessarily go in saying, hey, here's what we're gonna do and this is it. I think that kind of limits you a little bit. So I think if the person goes in and says, well, let me get to meet the people and see what their personalities are like, I think then you kind of go from there and you really see what's going to work and what might not.
Excellent. Yeah, that's what we've kind of been hoping in kind of the way we designed this. We hope that an artist will come in and, you know, with a sense of inquiry, learn about the community, learn about partners for a couple of months, 3 months, and then start to design something. Now, that doesn't mean that they have to be, you know, actionless for months. You can learn by as you're doing something, especially with something that's interactive with the community. You know, I think Polly talking about her temporary small project of the fence weaving is a good one. Sometimes doing something with your hands is a great way to open things up and make people more comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I think, you know, there's definitely just a lot of ways that you can go from there. And I know I talked to you about the open spaces that we have on the walls. I think we could definitely find some ways to incorporate some of the art that's being created out of there, and actually place that into the EnVision Center and showcase that throughout the center as well.
Great. Let me see if anybody has any questions for Greg.
I did see a couple, Doug.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the EnVision Center is located, the address is 2607 Salem Turnpike. It's actually like directly across from Lansdowne, our central office. And then as far as ages getting involved, honestly, that's gonna just depend on how we market it and the opportunities that we're showcasing. I suspect that a majority are probably going to be late elementary, middle school age, because those are usually the ones that are um, um, they're cool but not too cool for us. So they'll still allow us to work with them a little bit. Ideally, we would love to get some maybe late junior high and early high school as well. I know with the youth garden, we're working on developing a program that would be a paid internship for some of the youth over there. So you're probably going to have 14 and up at that point. So I think, you know, if we can find like 4 or 5 that are 14 and up that want to participate, I think that would be a great thing. And I know, Doug, you and I had talked, it might even be where you have a couple different groups, like age groups that you work with.
Great. And then, and okay, Susan said if you have access to flowers, a floral design class for Mother's Day would be fun. That's, yeah,
We could
all kinds
actually
of
grow
ideas.
flowers in the garden.
Yeah, yeah. Any other, Polly?
Yeah, I was just going to make a comment as far as when I was kind of thinking about some of these opportunities and encouraging a friend that I know used to live there and, you know, was on the not so sure, could I do that? And, you know, I was trying to encourage her to say, you know, yes, I mean, definitely apply. So definitely start thinking about how it might work according to your skills or your interests. Because there may be an opportunity where you find, you know, volunteer artists who want to do something, but just one time, you know, and so, you know, to keep something always going on, there's a number of different ways of doing that. I was curious myself regarding the habit of folks crossing Shenandoah, and I guess that library was used by residents and that's a safe passage. I don't remember seeing the white lines across.
So there is a white line pathway, walkway. I did talk to Joe Cobb a little bit about us looking into maybe putting some caution yellow lights on that walkway. So I'm hoping that that's something that maybe by the summertime that we could have implemented. So it is in our thought process. I don't have a direct answer on that yet, but it is something that we are thinking about.
And do you see people walking on down and around to Goodwill and the main library? Is that pathway?
Yeah, it is utilized. I don't see as many walking down that way. Just because I think well, one, it's been winter time. So I think that's factored into it a little bit, but yeah, I just don't necessarily see a lot of them walking over there. I know that, you know, people do utilize the library and the playground over there. But we do have a ton of people out right in front of our area. I mean, for example, the school bus drops off middle schoolers, and at 3:30, there's like 40 of them out in our main parking lot.
Sure.
So yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it's possible. I don't see a lot of them because my office is kind of tucked away in the very back. They hide me, so I don't have a direct window access to the front. But I do know some of the residents that do go and utilize the library quite frequently. But honestly, exposure is not really a worry of mine because Doug can tell you like where our garden is going to be strategically placed. Like you're not going to miss it. you're going to see stuff that's going on over there. We're also hopeful, we're working on hopefully getting an LED sign, so that would be out front, and that we could actually have, like, if we had a resident artist that was over there and was doing a class from, 4 to 5, we could display that on the sign as well and things like that.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, because I was realizing the partnerships are another opportunity. If somebody was doing something at the library, if they knew that you were having space for activities, it could be an easy repeat, or, at least relationship and sharing dates and workshops or whatnot. So I was just trying to envision the village kind of idea around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do try and coordinate with the folks over at Goodwill and through the libraries. So we do share, our calendar with them. And if they've got things, I know, like, they've got their spring fest that's going to be on the 21st of May. So we'll attend those and we'll share that information with our residents. Yeah, absolutely. We definitely encourage, cooperating and trying to get our residents in touch with all the partners that are over there, not just within the EnVision Center.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Those were great points and questions, Polly, and thinking about the traffic and the safe crossing. It's that's a crossover with the complete streets kind of idea as well. And an artist might even think about, the artist who's attached to the complete streets might take an area like that and say, okay, well, what are some things we could do to make that feel more like a neighborhood to the people who are driving through it, so that they're safer, so that they slow down and are more aware, and that in the entire space feels like a place, that village. I love the term Greg used, that village. Yeah. Any other questions for Greg? Well, Greg, thanks for taking the time. I'm going to take this little part of your recording and I'm going to put it onto the application as well, so people see it. I really appreciate you, the energy you're putting into the place over there, and your vision for the role of the arts as being a part of it. So I know you've got a plumber there, so we'll let you get back to it.
Well, I thank you for giving the opportunity, and I thank all of you on this Zoom for the work you're doing within the community. And it's really is a vital thing, and we appreciate you. And I don't know if I'll work with all of you, but I hope I do.
Great. Thanks a lot, Greg.
Thank y'all. Yeah, I look forward to hopefully meeting all of you.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.
And Polly, you made a good point too about the organizing ability. When we put these calls out for the Year of the Artist, we even said change makers as well as artists. So there is that creative aspect of community organizing and community development as well. So if someone says, "Oh, well, I'm not an artist," we have to dig a little bit deeper. They might be the artist for the job. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to hop back onto the PowerPoint, and we'll talk about our other project. So again, don't forget the artists in residence, they're due midnight. The applications are due midnight Thursday. And so keep sharing it with people, and those people you talk to, remind them, ask them if they followed up. And then we'll have a period of training and listening. I suspect, and I hope that when we start doing the trainings, we'll do them in a way that we ask the artists in residence to make sure they're able to be there. I'm hoping we'll be able to do them in person, but that will also open them to everybody. So that I think most of them will try and do that way, so that everybody's got the opportunity to kind of learn and engage, because some people will be doing very similar projects under the Art Matters grants, I think, as well. All right. And then, so Mackenzie's not here, but let me tell you about the stormwater. Like I said, we've done 2. This is our 3rd round. We might do up to 8 stormwater inlet murals this year. These are great projects. They're pretty simple. You get a $400 stipend. The application's due April 26th, and you just need to do a rendering for it. It doesn't have to be a formal final rendering, but you can submit a sketch. It seems to me that when you can pencil in some color, they show better and people get a better sense. But the sketch can be as elaborate and as elaborate as you want, or it doesn't have to be full, as long as you can communicate your idea. Now you'll see some artists use just imagery. Some will throw in a phrase, and there'll be 8 different sites, and these are all online. The call is you'll see it there under our Yoda page. And Huff Lane Park is one. Oakland Boulevard and Round Hill Elementary, there's another. You can see all these pictures were taken when it was a little snowy out there. But each one, the measurements, Mackenzie's going to get the dimensions so that artists have them. Once they're selected, they'll have a chance to go back and redo their rendering based in the dimensions, and to go a little bit deeper as well. So it doesn't have to be a final drawing to begin with. And again, we're getting the message out that everything that's flowing into these inlets goes into our river. And Andrews Road and Roanoke Academy, Loudon and Fifth, Highland Park, that's a real visible one right there. There's a lot of pedestrian traffic right there. A lot of these, they're chosen for the visibility as well. So, kind of around schools, with the kids love these. There's one, or there might be 2 now, that have been done with young people. So an adult says, okay, I'm going to do it, and I grab my kids and they're going to help. Or the young people might be actually designing them, and the adults helping them polish it up and then get the paint on the mural. Now it's $400 stipend. We provide the safety equipment. We provide the paint, the brushes. Of course, some artists want to use their own brushes, and then we'll seal it, and they'll go back every year and reseal it and check on it. But it's a fun little project, and it might be, if you've never done a public art project, it's a really good starter project. And some folks who've been on these calls who have been involved with them in the past. So Bennington Street in Brownlee, this is over by the Greenway, where we're doing that put out the other call from underneath the bridges. All right, and that's it. So any questions on that, on the stormwater inlet?
When would that be? I know the application is clear, but when would be the completion date for a mural like that?
Yeah, so there, I think it's on the website, but I know the big deadline is in time for our Go Fest. And so at Go Fest, which is in October, the stormwater team will have a panel up showing images of all these, and there'll be cash prizes for some of these as well. There'll be an audience or a community choice one too, and they'll have people vote. So the Arts Commission puts a little additional money in there for the prizes, and that just makes it kind of a fun thing and another way to engage people. But by the end of the summer, I can't remember the specific date, but it's there on the call. And so of course, we want to do it while the weather's good, and to be ready for the October Go Fest. So you pretty much have the summer, although it can get hot out there. Yeah.
Well, what about the start date, would you say? I mean, once you get notified, when would be the start date, would you think?
Yeah, they'll have everything pretty much ready to go. That always depends on me, how fast we get the panel together. April, I think I've got the dates lined up. Let me pull it up. Let's see here. I have to make noises while I'm searching things out. Let's see here. I would think you'd be able to.
I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you, did you say the Clean Valley Council and Stormwater, both departments are also in on this, so that thus there's 3 times as much advertisement to get out, or does
Yeah,
that make sense?
I think that's true. I think that's true.
Okay.
Although I can't say for sure. Let me see.
Is
It's hard to-
this is a good one for, trying to get out widely again.
Yeah,
Because it's small, a smaller very doable project, and could be with kids. So I like it.
yeah, yeah, and that's the thing too. When you get young people involved, it's young people, and I'll tell you, we have a signal box. An adult did a signal box entered the signal box competition this year. Where we do the transportation signal boxes, and they're not professionally trained. And they did a rendering that just the composition was so surprisingly good. They put so much in it. Everybody responded to it. And I met her, and she's terrific. And she was so excited, so excited. She's like, I never believed I would have been selected for this, but everybody loved the design. So yeah, and it just feels like a real community. It's going to feel really good, I think, to people. So it doesn't have to. It can have that fun, playful, engaging quality that young people often bring to a project. And it takes me just a little bit to get where I'm going to go, because I'm a terrible multitasker. And let's see here. Okay, this will be a good test, Vicki. I'll share the website, and we'll see. We'll test it and see if I have the information up there. And so you can see here, let's see the calls. I'll click on calls. I'll go to Stormwater Inlet murals. Okay, and so we've got the pictures. You can see pictures and the locations. You can see the inlets from the last round. More about the project, proposed timeline. Okay, artists will be notified by Wednesday, May 18th. Final drawings are due Wednesday, June 1st. Selected artists shall attend it's a fun meeting. We get all the artists together. We did it by Zoom last time, but everybody loves meeting each other. Artists shall complete the work by July 30th, we said there. I think last year we ended up pushing it back a little bit and gave them some more time in August because they needed it. But that was also in 2020, and there was a pandemic and everything was weird. It's not going to be that weird this year. And then People's Choice Award is announced on October 18th after the Go Fest, which is October 14th and 16th. Mark your calendars. Okay, does that get it, Vicki?
Yes. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep, got it.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and then, but it was a good test. Okay, and then the next thing is marketing. We do want to start getting the word out about Year of the Artist, and we should be doing this in fun ways. And I budgeted a little bit of money for marketing, and I think there's no better way to use that marketing money than to pay artists to market for us. So I'm going to put a call out, and you're going to help me shape it right now if you give me any suggestions. I was thinking I'd say, up to $500, you could propose an idea and say, hey, here's the idea and what I'll do and how I'll get it out. Now that could be, I'm going to design a sticker and I'll pay a few $100s for the sticker and I'll hand them out, or who knows what it is. Could be that you want to do a social media campaign. I happen to have an office that I don't use that much, but I've got an office and then I've got a conference room that's next to it. And the windows are across from Texas Tavern. And it could be that we do a big window display in that office. And I've already got some panels that I grabbed from Annie Schultz that might fit in there. If an artist wants to say, hey, I'll help you redo that, I can pay an artist to come in, or a few artists to come in, and we make it a clubhouse. And who knows, maybe they've got curtains as you walk past, or somehow it celebrates the Year of the Artist in a surprising way. I'm wide open for things like that. And especially if people have, maybe somebody applied for the self-portrait project and didn't get selected for that. Here's another way we can engage you. So I don't want you to stop trying if you didn't get selected for that. You'll have an even bigger mural or canvas perhaps. So does anybody have any thoughts about that, or does that just like kind of that basic? Does that bring anything to mind?
I think it's a good idea. That's all I'm going to say. It sounds great. It sounds really good.
Doug,
Okay.
You hear me?
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll put a call out that feels something like that. Yep. Susan, was that you? Can you hear me?
yeah, that was me. The question I have for you is, were you doing one $500 thing, or what was your, because you would want, in my opinion, you would want all these things to coordinate together somehow so they were the same message, but in different places and in different ways. And the artists all looked at me like, what?
Yeah. So I think I've got maybe $2,500. I think I'm having slow internet, but I think it's probably picked up now. I think I've got $2,500 out of that marketing money. And it might be that if we get lots of good ideas, figure out how to fund more. I'm not worried about kind of the amount of money for it. But I agree with you. I think we should have lots of little things happening. If they're all connected, even with the words "Year of the Artist," that might be enough to connect it. Who knows? Or it might be that when we say, okay, here's everybody who's applied, let's have one group conversation before we send you off to do your work. And that might be enough to create some additional connectivity. Yeah.
And I think too, just like Vicki had the problem, most people think in calendar years. They don't realize governments work July 1st to June 30. So,
Oh yeah, I'm not.
maybe
I thought about that when I did it. I initially. It basically gives us 2 years of Year of the Artist, because we'll go all the way through the end of 2023.
I have a suggestion for a site for promoting things. I was just in Roanoke yesterday, and I always see the balcony of the Taubman Museum, and I think of it as being that museum's best gallery. It's the most viewable by the most people. When we did the Rise Up project, we put ladders up there and put banners up there with a website. It's for people driving by to see about it. So if we want to promote this, that's a great place, and it also connects the Taubman to the Year of the Artist thing too. So I don't have a particular. idea
That's
for what
terrific,
to do.
Charlie. I completely agree. I've talked to Cindy a little bit about this, and I know we talked maybe about holding an event for a celebration event as part of maybe in December of this year, where we bring everybody together there on First Fridays or whatnot, as we get everybody down to the galleries, do a little reception-y thing. So we talked about that, and she's definitely interested in this. So I bet there'd be a good way to use that very visible site. And I remember your ladders up there.
It projects right out into the community. I like that. It comes out of the museum and interjects itself into communities. So.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a great suggestion. Yeah. So it could be okay. Now let's take that suggestion. It could. Oh, go ahead,
Well,
Tyler.
I just wanted to remind you, Jane had her hand up.
I put it in the chat. I was just curious what the address was of the office your office across from Texas Tavern. I just wanted to pull it up on Google Maps and see what it looked like.
Yeah, I turned my camera off because I was having internet trouble. It's 117 Church. So 117 Church, it's got, and you'll see there are these like kind of, you know, the shutters. There are all these white shutters. I mean, it's a terrible, 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 terrible window, because they put these offices on the street level, and then I keep my blinds kind of open so I can see people, but it's like, it's not what you want on street level. So it's like a wall that you walk past, you can't see in, it's not inviting, it's not friendly. So I'd love to overhaul that space. And I even told my boss, the assistant city manager, I said, I'm not really going to ask permission to do it, but I'm telling you, we're going to do it. He's like, I think that's great. You know, so who knows? You'll see there's a little bit of art there. I also, I put flyers in. They look so sloppy. Somebody gives me a flyer for an event, I'll put it there in the window. It could be that we create a, what's something that's more like a better looking bulletin board where I can put things there and we let people know what's happening. But I'd love to have somebody help me think through it, and I'd be happy to pay them to do it. Additionally, I think, Charlie, when you talk about that idea, it could be that there's an installation that's in your mind that you think would be a terrific way to engage the folks. And I'm not putting pressure on you to do anything, but I'm saying this is a good example where an artist could say, you know what, I could do this for $500 and I've got permission, and here, I'll put that out there, and there, it's done. It's going to be there for 6 months or 4 months or whatever. So I'm kind of wide open that way. And I know just the same way that when we did the Inspire grants, those are just Roanoke Arts Commission funds that aren't tied to the federal grant. We've banked a little bit. We might have probably $9,000 right now. We're happy to program some of that money to do this kind of stuff as we go as well. All right, and I think that might be all I had in mind. So watch for that. I'll go ahead and put out a very short form for that we won't do a contract for. You basically tell me what you want to do, and I'd say, okay, do it and give me an invoice, and we'd pay you on an invoice for that, I think. So it should be pretty easy and fun. And again, it can be kind of anything. I was thinking before, I was like, yeah, I'd love to have some little window clings that said Year of the Artist. And then I thought, well, instead of me doing that and saying that's a good idea, because sometimes my ideas aren't good ideas, let me put it to the real creatives. So, okay, anything else tonight? Well, thank you for taking the time to be on this. I'll post this so other people can see it. I really appreciate it. It's a lot more lively if we're doing it with a live studio audience than if we did a recording and just stuck it up there. And it's good seeing everybody. Like I said, I missed you. All
Yeah,
right.
last Tuesday was rough. It was like I don't have anybody to talk to.
One more plug. We are doing this book read. It's going to start. We're going to do it 4 Mondays in a row. Monday, April 11th, we're going to be, I think, first at Belmont Library, and we're going to try and do these in person. But this book, Designing Creative Communities, and it should be fun. We're going to kind of learn together, talk about it together as a small book group. It could be that afterwards we say, okay, well, let's do a virtual version of it now. If people say, oh yeah, well, we want to keep that conversation going or engage people who didn't want to come out in person. But I read through the first section again, and I think it's a good one for us to use right now. But if you're not a reader, we'll fill you in. All right. Everybody have a good night. I appreciate you.